I'm going to stay on this for a little bit. Let me explain to everybody. First of all, you heard Congressman Collins say there's 1.4 million Georgians who take SNAP benefits. So clearly, for those of you who believe one group of people get SNAP or welfare, that's clearly not true, right? Because it's not 1.4 only, right? According to some of the statistics, there's no real hard numbers, but 198,000 white Georgians get SNAP benefits. Many of them live in rural areas. 71% of Trump got 71% of the white vote, and 55% of those without a college degree. So if you take out all those numbers, play around with them however you see fit, I can honestly say the majority of Trump voters, whom are white, not the majority, a large number of Trump voters who are white are on SNAP benefits. Just by the sheer numbers. A white SNAP benefit recipient did not vote for Kamala Harris in this race if he lives in Rome or Cartersville or some rural area. Okay, we can make that assumption. Now I know what you say about assumptions, but I don't have hard data. I just have the percentages and the hard number of 198,000. So there we are. That's where we sit. And as I asked the congressman, who do you think they'll blame? Now he's saying the Democrats will get the blame. I'm saying, here's my fear. And I need to take you back to 2015. Because many of you are on my Facebook page and you're saying just the craziest things. Oh, there's fraud in welfare. Well, there's fraud in Washington, D.C. Why do we still send our taxpayers to those people? There's fraud in everything. So you're going to cut off some poor woman's welfare that she needs to feed her children, but let me see, you won't complain about the insider trading unless it's Nancy Pelosi, when you know they all do it. You won't complain about the fraud in campaign financing. No, that's okay. You won't complain about the fraud when we're sending money to Ukraine, not knowing where it goes. And the one congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says we need an audit. I'm not going to vote for another spending another dollar to go to Ukraine until we have an audit. And half of you don't care. But you care about the drug addict on a corner of some hood somewhere, or some drug addict in rural Georgia buying fentanyl and meth or crack and heroin in the hood. Let's stop the whole program because of the fraud. The biggest amount of fraud is going on right now in Washington, D.C. But you'll protect your side and attack the other side, and the other side will protect their side and attack this side. Let me say something about the SNAP benefits. There's fraud everywhere. Everywhere. The problem is that most people, can you tell them to calm down? Can you tell them to be quiet? For real. I can hear them. I shouldn't be able to hear my call screener. Tell them to be quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. This like 2 nights in a row. I'm hearing them yelling, and I'm sorry. So there's fraud in the SNAP benefits everywhere. But what happens next year during the midterms? Where do we go next year during the midterms? Because you remember when Trump first ran in 2015, the reason why so many of us, myself included, got on board with him, do you know why? Do you know why? You might have forgotten why you started liking Trump. It's because you didn't like the Republicans. Many Trump voters turned to Trump because he said, and I quote, they're corrupt in D.C. They're robbing you blind. This is what he said. When I first heard him say that, I said, wow, finally a guy saying that. And his thing was drain the swamp. Remember? Drain the swamp. That's why we liked him. That's why we liked him. And I'm not blaming him for the shutdown. I'm not blaming him for the SNAP benefits. What I'm saying to you is remember why you liked Trump. Because you did not like Washington, D.C. You thought the Republicans were all crooks. You thought the Democrats were crooks. You thought this whole system was corrupt. And this guy came along and he said very loudly and clearly, it is corrupt and you're at the bottom of it. And I'm going to fix that. Now all of you are defending the system. You're defending a corrupt system. The SNAP benefits that I'm talking about is not about who's getting it, who's fraudulent or anything like that, because I don't know. Yes, you can throw me a meme that said Afghans are 26% of Afghans. There's only 10,000 Afghans here, maybe 50,000. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is a very simple point. The system is corrupt. And the longer we're on one side defending a system or the other side defending the system, they keep us at the bottom. I don't care that somebody that gets welfare is using it to buy drugs. I do care more about the woman with 2 kids who needs it to buy her kids food. If you say get rid of the whole system because illegals are getting it or because of fraud and all of this stuff, you're going to hurt somebody. But the real fraud are these people in D.C. that go in there making $10,000 and leave making $30 million. That's the fraud, and it's not just one side. Please understand that. The Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.